Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatiravanachari Yamunatiravanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jam Vishnupad Pram Sapravajagachara Shtutra Shata Shri Srimad Shila Abhay Chandravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Shri Prabhupada Ki Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. The reading from Srimad Bhagavad-gita as it is, chapter 2, entitled Contents of the Gita Summarized. Text 47. Karmanyevadikaraste mapaleshu kadachana makarmapala hiturbur mate sangostva karmani karmani in prescribed duties. Eva, certainly. Adhikaraha, right. Te, of you. Ma, never. Phaleshu, in the fruits. Kadachana, at any time. Ma, never. Karma phala, in the result of work. Hetu, cause. Bhuhu, become. Ma, never. Te, of you. Sangaha, attachment. Astu, there should be. Akarmani, in not doing prescribed duties. The translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. I offer obeisance to this book, but I don't have the eyes to read it anymore. I struggle. I can still read it, but it's a struggle. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Purport. There are three considerations here: prescribed duties, capricious work, and inaction. Prescribed duties are activities enjoined in terms of one's acquired modes of material nature. Capricious work means actions without the sanction of authority, and inaction means not performing one's prescribed duties. The Lord advised that Arjuna not be inactive, but he perform his prescribed duty without being attached to the result. One who is attached to the result of his work is also the cause of the action. Thus he is the enjoyer or sufferer of the result of such actions. As far as prescribed duties are concerned, they can be fitted into three subdivisions, namely routine work, emergency work, and desired activities. Routine work performed as an obligation in terms of the scriptural injunctions, without desire for results, is action in the mode of goodness. Work with results become the cause of bondage. Therefore, such work is not auspicious. Everyone has his proprietary right in regard to prescribed duties, but should act without attachment to the result. Such disinterested obligatory duties doubtlessly lead one to the path of liberation. Arjuna was therefore advised by the Lord to fight as a matter of duty without attachment to the result. His non-participation in the battle is another side of attachment. Such attachment never leads one to the path of salvation. Any attachment, positive or negative, is cause for bondage. Inaction is sinful. Therefore, fighting as a matter of duty was the only auspicious path of salvation for Arjuna. The translation of the verse again. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of the results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Om Ajnanatirandasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shiyuta Patakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyahivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. So we continue our discussion on this second chapter, this part of second chapter that is called bhakti-yoga actually. How to perform devotional service, how to live in this world with intelligence. And Prabhupada translates bhakti-yoga as bhakti-yoga, because only intelligent life is bhakti. Otherwise, if someone is not a devotee, he's stupid, actually. And this is confirmed by Krishna himself. He's also more strong. Krishna says in 16th chapter that he's a demon. If someone is not a devotee, he's a demon. And why he's stupid is in ninth chapter of Bhagavad-gita. Krishna explains, Mogasha moga karma no moga jnana vichitasa rakshasim asurim cheva prakritim mohinim shita. That everything, if one does without serving Krishna, is just useless endeavor. In Bhagavatam is this example. If one beats empty husk, what is his achievement? Hard labor. Maybe blisters on your hands. But one is beating the husk to get some grains. Husk is the shell of a grain. So if you beat empty husk, you don't get what you want. You want grain, of course, if you beat husk. That's the purpose of beating husk. But if you beat empty husk, there is no grain inside. So your labor is shrama eva kevalam. Certainly useless labor. Certainly. So it's stupid to endeavor for something that is not available, isn't it? Yes. So, yes, those who are not devotees, therefore are stupid. As simple as that. And Krishna explains in 3rd chapter that nahi kashtit kshanamapi jatutishtati karma krit. Karate hyavasha karma saraprakriti jargune. That no one can be inactive even for a moment. Nahi kashtit kshanamapi. Kshana is a moment. Very short moment. If nothing else, we have to breathe. If someone lives on prana, he still breathes, isn't it? And then also in 3rd chapter he explains further on. Yagyartat karmano nyatra lokayan karma pantana tadartam apikanta mukta sangak samachara. That perform your work as a sacrifice to me, as a yagya. Yaga is one of the names of Lord Vishnu or Krishna. So perform your work as a sacrifice to me. And Prabhupada defines sacrifice in I think in 2nd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. What is sacrifice? And he says to perform something for the interest of another person and not for your interest. So you sacrifice your interest for interest of someone else, basically. This is sacrifice. But of course we know that in this world everyone performs some kind of sacrifice, because we always sacrifice some interest. For example, you are here now. This is a kind of sacrifice, because you could go and eat prasad or lie down and sleep, and so or anything else. So you sacrifice your time to be here, isn't it? So yes, everyone therefore is doing something, and according to Krishna, the best way of performing our work is for his pleasure. Yes. And Krishna explains in this verse that I quoted, the last one, that then you will be always free of reactions. Otherwise, you'll be always in bondage. So we have here we can choose what we want, to live in bondage or to be free. So here Krishna instructs your adhikar. Adhikar is ability to perform, is work. Everyone has this ability. Here Prabhupada translates as a right to perform your prescribed duty. But adhikar is more than a right, is our nature, actually. It's our nature to perform work. Yes. So, and immediately if one performs some work, there is possibility of mistakes also. Isn't it? Kalar dosha nidirajan asti hyeka mahanguna kirtanativa krishnasya muktak sangah paramvrajit. That this age of Kali is full of faults. And that doesn't mean that some impersonal thing as an age is faulty. But who's faulty? People of this age, isn't it? Not the age itself. It's lifeless. But people of this age are faulty. So we are born with unlimited faults. So what to do? And we discuss aparadhas and anarthas. So We have unlimited possibilities to perform anarthas. And it's interesting that Jiva Goswami says that prescribed chanting of the holy names, for example, we vow to chant at least 16 rounds without offense. It's because all these different sadhanas are because of offenses. Because if there wouldn't be offense, no offense in our heart, by one chanting of the holy name we will be in complete ecstasy on transcendental platform. So our only hope is to chant. To chant and chant and chant without cessation, practically. At least 16 rounds. Minimum. Minimum. And of course, if one is intelligent, he will not stay on minimum. Because we know, for example, when people are tortured, they're kept on minimum food, for example, just barely to survive. And chanting 16 rounds is something like this, bare minimum, just to survive. So we shouldn't be miserly to ourselves. And Krishna explains it also in the second chapter of Bhagavad-gita. Give up this miserly weakness of your heart. You shouldn't be misers. We should be well fed spiritually. Yes. So there are different aparadhas. And we discussed this already. We mentioned that there are Jiva Aparadhas, Tadiya Aparadhas, and then there are Nama Aparadhas, of course, and Siva Aparadhas. We mentioned this. And today we'll not touch on Nama Aparadhas because there are too many Aparadhas. And we should go deeper in these aparadhas. Of course, there are more Siva aparadhas than Nama aparadhas. But they're not so dangerous. All Siva aparadhas, that means offense towards the deity, can be easily mitigated by chanting the holy name. Yes. But there is a danger, as we mentioned also yesterday, I think, that if we perform knowingly Siva Aparadhas and count on the strength of the holy name, then becomes a Nama Aparadha. And Nama Aparadha is impossible to wipe out by any means, actually, only by taking shelter of the holy name and begging for mercy. So Nama Aparadhas are extremely difficult to remove. Yes, and they stay. These offenses against the holy name. It is described that usually. Majority of anarthas, they go away at the stage of nishtha, when one becomes fixed in devotional service. In Bhagavatam, it is explained in the second chapter of the first canto, Nashta preshva bhadreshu nityam bhagavata seva bhagavatuttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. That by performing devotional service, hearing Bhagavatam and serving great devotees, we cleanse our heart, and even before we are completely cleansed, Nashta preshva bhadreshu, even before we are completely cleansed, bhakti already becomes naishtiki. firmly established in our heart. Prabhupada translates as irrevocable fact. Yes, Naishtiki Bhakti. Tadara Rajastamo Bhavaha Kamalobhadaishchi Chetara Etarnavidam Stitam Sattve Prasidati. And then we transcend, we overcome these influences of Rajas and Tamas. Tadara Rajastamo Bhavaha. We cannot go beyond Rajas and Tamas without bhakti. Impossible. We can stay for a while in an artificial position of so-called sattva, but we fall down, inevitably. Only by devotional service we can really go beyond Rajas and Tamas. Yes. So it's important to know, and because we are full of faults. We said that people are faulty in this age, and it's not age alone, but people are faulty. Because we are full of faults, we have to strive to be pleasing to the Lord. That means to be without faults, actually. Strive very hard by performing sacrifice. Because in our conditioned interest is to enjoy separate from the Lord, isn't it? That's why we are here, because we want to enjoy separate from the Lord. And so, this is of course faulty and against our true interest. So we have to endeavor and perform sacrifices and penances and so on. But regardless how much penances and sacrifices we perform, it's not in our power to overcome them. No way. And Krishna explains this in 7th chapter of Bhagavad-gita. Devi hiesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadanti mayam etantarantiti. That this energy of mine, mama maya, is duratyaya, impossible to overcome. But those who surrender unto me can easily transcend it. Mam eva. Eva is a word that supports something very strongly. It means certainly. Certainly is like this. As we mentioned before, this Shrama eva hi kevalam. And there are, everything which is not devotional service is useless labor, and uses eva, which strongly supports, and hi, which also means certainly, and kevalam, only. Like Sutta Goswami would bang with his fist, Shrama eva hi kevalam. Certainly and certainly nothing else than useless labor. So, yes, we should strive, but our only hope is Krishna's mercy. Yeah, so we should strive as everything depends on us. And at the same time, be completely dependent on Krishna's mercy, as if nothing is dependent on us. Yes. So this illustrates very interesting story, which is very appropriate for this time. Illustrates this point, and because we are awaiting the month of Kartik, which is the most holy month actually. This Damodar Lila illustrates this story very much. How one day Mother Yashoda churned butter. Krishna was sleeping, and Mother Yashoda was very determined because neighbors were complaining that Krishna is stealing butter. She wanted to churn butter this day herself. That there would be the best possible butter for Krishna, that Krishna wouldn't have to go out of the house for getting butter. And she kept special cows for this purpose, Gandhamadana cows, which were fed with special grass. Then the milk of these special cows was given to one most special cow to drink. And then the milk of this one most special cow was meant for Krishna's butter and for Krishna's enjoyment. So yes, so she churned butter and put some milk on the stove to boil for Krishna, this special milk. And Krishna woke up and went to Mother, and he wanted to suck her milk. And Yashoda happily took him on her lap and fed him her own milk, which is of course much better even than this Gandhamadana milk from most special cows. And Krishna was perfectly happy. But then she noticed that milk is overflowing on the stove. And she put Krishna down and went to rescue the milk. And Krishna was extremely angry. This is a very interesting story, actually, because it is example of proper understanding of bhakti. On the other hand, because we know Yashoda is one of the utmost devotees possible and completely pure. But and Krishna was angry, that means not satisfied. But her action was devotional service. But on the other hand, Kamsa completely satisfied Krishna. But his actions was not devotional service, and he was not a devotee. It's interesting, isn't it? Like an uncle from a town, he regularly sent some toys to his nephew in a village to Krishna, these different demons. And Krishna, as a naughty boy, he broke every toy the rich uncle sent from the town. So Krishna enjoyed playing with these demons because he has a propensity to fight. So these demons were in his pleasure, actually. And when he fought with Kamsa, this was also pleasurable for Krishna. He fought with him and killed him very playfully, with great enjoyment. But his actions, Kamsa's actions, weren't devotional service. And therefore he was in anxiety all the time. Mother Yashoda was also in anxiety, but different kind of anxiety. Kamsa was afraid of Krishna, but Yashoda was afraid for Krishna. This is the difference. And because Krishna was very upset that Mother Yashoda put him down, he broke the pot and then fed the monkeys with the butter. And Mother Yashoda saw that this mischief of Krishna and wanted to protect him, actually, from dangers that can befall on him when he's naughty too much. And he wanted to bind him. So Krishna started run, and that he would escape Mother Yashoda. And Mother Yashoda was running behind him. And Krishna, as explained in Upanishads, is faster than the fastest. No one can catch Krishna. Different yogis try hard, very hard, to catch Krishna in their minds, but they're unable to catch Krishna. And we can also try to chant very with great concentration, but many times we will see that Krishna will not allow us to catch him. Yes. So Yashoda, finally Krishna allowed her to catch him, and then she wanted to bind Krishna, and Krishna didn't allow to be bound. He doesn't want to be bound. Who wants to be bound? But Mother Yashoda was adamant. At least one time I have to find out what is the circumference about the waist of my child. And she got different ropes from the household, and when all the ropes from Nanda Maharaja's household, and he was a king, so there must have been plenty of ropes, they were not sufficient. They were always 2 fingers too short. And then the neighbors were watching this fun, neighboring ladies, neighboring elderly gopis, and they were amazed. How is this possible? Because Krishna's waist didn't grow up, but the rope was very lengthy, but couldn't fit around Krishna's waist. So they brought their own ropes to help Mother Yashoda. And there must be, I don't know, several kilometers of rope. Maybe. And Krishna's waist didn't grow. It was definitely astonishing. But finally, Krishna allowed to be bound. So, I believe you all know what these 2 fingers represent. Jai Shri Prahlad Nrsimha Ki Jai. What these 2 fingers represent.
Endeavor and grace.
Yes. Endeavor, our endeavor. Love. Yes. Endeavor with love, actually. Not just empty endeavor with desire to control, but endeavor with love and Krishna's mercy. So both are needed. Without one of these items, one cannot succeed in anything, actually. So when we strive to get rid of offenses, we should count on Krishna's mercy very much. Yes, this is most important. So, first we will mention Jiva Aparadhas. Jiva, of course, means living entity. And we shouldn't, as we mentioned yesterday, we shouldn't be violent towards living entities. And this violence is on many levels. Of course, as we mentioned, we cannot be completely free from violence. It's impossible. Even with breathing, we kill many living entities. With walking, with digesting. And it is said in Shastra that a saintly person is happy when he sees venomous snake to be killed, isn't it? Have you seen this in Shastra, in our scriptures? Yes.
Can you repeat the sentence, please?
That even the saintly person is happy when he sees a snake killed, a venomous snake killed. Yes, because it's dangerous. If a venomous snake comes into your house, it's better to kill it. Otherwise, it can kill you or your family members. So, but not to perform unnecessary violence. That means that, okay, it's better to kill a snake if it comes to your house, but you shouldn't go out and search for snakes in different holes and kill every snake you find. You understand? So this is unnecessary killing, and this is Jiva Himsa. This is Aparadha. Yes, this is Aparadha. So we shouldn't be unnecessarily violent. And this also goes deep, actually. This unnecessary violence is also, for example, overeating, eating too much. Because if we eat too much, then we unnecessarily kill other animals, other living entities, like vegetables and other living entities. Therefore, it's written in the prasadam hall that we shouldn't throw prasadam away. Yes. Because unnecessarily eating is causing violence or overeating. So, yes, causing violence to other living entities. So we should be careful. This is also offense towards other living entities. Yes. So we should be very careful not to commit unnecessary violence. Nati himsa, not too much violence. Of course, if there is one murderer, we should kill him immediately, without second thought. For example, a king his duty is to kill the culprit, and not just for the benefit of other living entities, of other people, but also for his own benefit, for the benefit of this culprit. Otherwise, he had to undergo much more suffering if he wouldn't be killed by the king. So we can see how modern world, because of ignorance, they think that they're merciful towards murderers, for example. I've heard that there is a law in Germany that even if you kill someone, after certain amount of time, few years, this should be wiped out from your how it's called, from your sorry? Yes, from your record, exactly. I don't know. So you can stay in the prison, I don't know for how many years at most. Then you go out, and after a few years, no trace. No one knows that you are a murderer. Interesting, isn't it? And they think, of course, this is very merciful law. But actually, such a murderer has to undergo severe suffering, life after life, maybe. So it's mercy on the side of a king to kill him immediately. Yes. And there is another example of misdirected mercy, connected also with Aparadhas. And this is Saubhari Muni. Saubhari Muni committed offense against who? Sorry? Yes, Garuda. Garuda is a very great devotee. And Saubhari Muni performed severe austerities at the bottom of Yamuna river. And he wanted to be completely untouched by the influence of any seduction. And he thought that at the bottom of a river he can peacefully meditate. And then it happened that in this lake of Yamuna, Garuda once came and took a kingfish out of water. And Saubhari Muni was so disturbed by this act that he cursed Garuda, that if next time he will come to this lake, that he will die. Of course, Garuda is a powerful devotee who could counter curse or dismiss this curse even, but he didn't. He just accepted very humbly. But Kalia was informed about this curse of Saubhari Muni, and therefore once he disrespected Garuda, and Garuda attacked him. In fear from Garuda, he escaped to this lake, because he knew that Garuda cannot come to this lake, otherwise he will die. And since Kalia entered this lake, all the fish were killed in the lake. Not just one, but all the fish. And not just fish, also every other living creature in this lake was killed. And not just in the lake, also on the shores of this lake, everything was dead. And not just on the shores of this lake, every bird that flew over this lake died because of these venomous vapors. So, how much violence was caused by an offense to a devotee? He thought that he is merciful. So, misdirected mercy causes much more violence than a proper action, which involves violence. But this small amount of violence is beneficial and must be applied. As we can see here, Prabhupada in this purport explains that inaction is sinful. Inaction is sinful. Or whimsical action also is not proper. We should perform our duty. And this was also one of the arguments of Krishna to Arjuna. Don't be unnecessarily merciful. If you are merciful unnecessary, this is more violence than proper action of killing. So we should see how important it is to follow, even if we think it's not proper. But if it is mentioned in Shastra, and we are ordered by a spiritual master, then we should definitely do it. Yes. Then the next, if you have any questions, you can ask freely. Yes.
There's indeed a question, because you were mentioning that we only can take
Yes.
Yeah. So I wonder how do we do it if we committed an offense to the holy name? We go pray in front of the deity and we pray to the holy name, or
We pray to the holy name, because the holy name is most merciful manifestation of the Lord. And although we cannot, we cannot how to counteract the offense, we can just beg for mercy. Because we know, with chanting of the holy name, we counteract other offenses. But we cannot counteract nama aparadhas. There is no way. So there are some prescribed processes. For example, if you offend a devotee, which is one of the nama aparadhas, we'll discuss this more deeply in next days. We don't have much time. Maybe it's even better to also discuss it in the mornings. Otherwise, we'll not get through. Yes, so there is no way to counteract nama aparadhas. So we can just pray for mercy. Just pray for mercy from the holy name. Yes. So, yes, Jiva Himsa. Then we have Tadiya Aparadhas. Tadiya means what is connected with Krishna. And usually, many times this is also translated as devotees, Tadiya. There are, of course, devotees, but it's much more than just devotees. It's also holy places, Dhamma. Therefore, we will see that sometimes there are listed that there are Dhamma Aparadhas also. But these Dhamma Aparadhas can be classified as Tadiya Aparadhas. And there are, for example, Krishna's paraphernalia and other things also. Actually, in this Western world, we are, how can I say, really barbaric. For example, we are accustomed to move things with our feet, isn't it? At least I was accustomed to do this. But in Vedic culture, before you get up, you beg Mother Earth for forgiveness, that you will touch her with your feet. Yes. For example, we push these cushions with our feet. But they are meant for services of the devotees, and not to be pushed around with our feet. Yes, it's a parad. Or, for example, I don't know, I can push this with my foot, my bag, but actually I keep my japa mala inside. and these gadgets on which we have Prabhupada's books. So it's sacred, actually. We should see everything as sacred, because everything is Krishna's energy. So we shouldn't be disrespectful to anything, actually. Yes, because if we are disrespectful to anything, it's actually Tadiya Aparadha, because everything is connected to Krishna. Yes, please.
Is our feet somehow specially connected with our false ego, or why is it so bad to touch with them?
Yes, because feet represent that you are the master, and so everyone is under your feet. Therefore, if we want to diminish our false ego, we take shelter of the feet of the Great Soul. Understand? And that means he's my master. But if we push around things with our feet, that means I am the master. I can kick, I can push. I'm the master. It's okay? Yes. So we should be very careful that we have proper attitude. And even if we don't push things with our feet, still we have to have respectful attitude towards everything. Therefore, Lord Chaitanya says, Trinada Pisnichna, Tururiva Sahishna, Amanina Manadina Ketanya Sadai. This is extremely broad instruction, not just our mentality, but also our action. And of course, mentality means everything. But yes, on many levels we can see how to apply these teachings of Lord Chaitanya, for example. Yes, so Tadiya Aparadhas, and of course Tulsi Devi is also Lord's devotee, and holy places like Yamuna and Vrindavana and so on. It's all holy places, and we should avoid offences against them by all means. Although, of course, they also can be mitigated by chanting of the holy name. But we should know, yes.
Wenn ich das richtig verstehe, dann ist es ein Unterschied, ob ich die Füße auf dem Polster draufstehen habe oder ob ich die wegziehe.
She says, if I understand correctly, then it's a difference between putting the feet on the cushion or pushing the cushion with the feet.
Yes, if you, of course, you can touch cushion with your feet because you sit on it and and so on. But you know it yourself when it's do it with if you do something with respect or something without respect or even without considering something that's important to show respect. So we should be respectful. Yes. And then there are many Seva Aparadhas. These Seva Aparadhas, as we explained, there are several lists of these Seva Aparadhas. We will not go deep into this now. We should rather speak this in the morning, tomorrow morning, because now it's over time. What to speak if we start to speak on Seva Aparadhas now? Is it okay to discuss this in the morning also? Okay. So we'll discuss this further tomorrow morning. Is there any question or comment? Yes, please.
Can you explain more about this incident of Garuda? And I am thinking that it may easily happen that we see some senior devotee doing something and to us it seems unjust or inappropriate. And by that we degrade ourselves and we cause harm even to others. And so it seems that it means a very fine discrimination to recognize that I have no right to judge this personality. So
Yes.
speak more about this.
Judge not unless you'll be judged, says Jesus Christ. So never judge. Don't be judgmental. So if we see that something is not proper, and this person is our peer or junior to us, we can of course go to him and warn him. This is not good for you, not good for others, and so on. But if it is our superior, then we shouldn't instruct. This is not proper etiquette. So if we think that his action is not beneficial for him or other devotees or anything else, then we should go to his superior, because everyone has his superior. At least we should have our superior all the time. Otherwise, we are in a very dangerous position. If we don't have superior. Yes. So we should go to this person's superior and present our concern, but not in a envious manner. Yes. Because if we are envious, this is also an offense. This is a Vaishnava Aparadha, one of the Vaishnava Aparadhas. Yes, so we should be very careful not to be envious. And we are in this world because of envy. So it's deeply ingrained in our heart, this envious propensity. Yes, please.
We are in this world because of envy, but we should not tell this superior our concern with envy.
Yes.
How can we do?
So how can we do without envy?
Yes, I can try in this moment to eradicate all the envy when I visualize what I want to say, but there is envy, no? Because I'm here. So how can I do without envy?
Yes, this strive. This is our part, that we have to strive very, very much. And envy is expressed with criticism and gossip. So we should avoid criticism and gossip by all means. Shri Prahlad Nisingha ki jai. This is so deep in the heart of a living entity that I read long time ago, 30 years or something, in some newspaper or wherever it was, even before my bhakti-yoga. There was a South American bishop, and he said that this gossip shouldn't be counted as a sin anymore in Catholic Church, because everyone is gossiping. So no one can escape gossiping. So it shouldn't be counted as a sin. Can you imagine? So how deep is this enviousness in our heart? Of course, this is craziness, that a spiritual leader says something like this. But we can see by this example how strong is this tendency. So when we present this case to a superior, we should be very humble and reflective about ourselves. And try to present this case as your, at least you should preach yourself. You understand? I will present this case for the benefit of this particular person. Understand? So, if you think that someone is doing something wrong, you should train yourself. Therefore, Krishna stresses all the time abhyasa yoga, abhyasa yoga. Abhyasa yoga yuktana chitta sanana gamina paramam purusham divyam yadi parthana chintan. This is in 8th canto, 8th chapter of Bhagavad-gita, and there is in 6th canto when Arjuna objects that no one can control the mind, and this is also about controlling the mind. Asamshayam mahabaho manodur nigraham chulam abhyasa naktukanta vegara grihyati. Again, abhyasa. Abhyasa. That means drill, like there is military drill. So you drill your awareness, your consciousness. Although you fall prey to your envy all the time, you just again and again and again, you drill your mind. No, I shouldn't be envious. I shouldn't be envious. Yes. So, therefore, also Lord Chaitanya says to Raghunath Das Goswami, Gramya katana shunime gramya vartana kohibe. Don't hear gossip and don't speak it. Yes. This is so important. So, yes.
I have one more question.
Yes.
Actually, about your very first words, you said that makes me smile a little bit because I'm false ego also. I'm thinking I'm a devotee, and you said that if one is not a devotee, one is stupid.
Yes.
And I'm thinking that I heard there was once Srila Prabhupada with some disciple in the car, and the disciple was how to say and basically showing to all the people in other cars, and he told Prabhupada, just see Srila Prabhupada, all those mudas.
Yes.
and like a little from above. And Srila Prabhupada, he responded by saying, yes, and how can we help them?
Yes.
As I'm asking, I'm thinking that I don't really understand what it means, and if I would really understand it, I'm also thinking probably I would think, my God, I'm not a devotee yet, I'm stupid. So why, because I don't understand deeply, why is it stupid to be not be a devotee?
Because you would like to achieve something and you repeatedly do something that is not beneficial for you. Understand? You want to be happy. For example, a child puts hand into the fire because it's very interesting for him. And he wants to play with fire and puts a hand into the fire and he gets burned and suffers. And if he next time puts his hand in the fire, it's stupid. Understand? And so, and here Shastra explains, Yehi sansparsha puga dukkha yona evati anyantavanta kante shuramati Buddha. Those who are Buddha, who are intelligent, who are not stupid, don't try to enjoy this material world. Because every enjoyment of this world will give birth to misery. So it will burn your hand. And you have experienced this, haven't you? You tried to enjoy something of this world and you suffered. It's always like this. Never fails. Never failed. Never have failed in the history of material world. But if we still try and think, this time I will get around and I'll get the enjoyment without suffering, this is stupidity. Yes. Is this okay? Of course, the devotee knows, or at least thinks, I'm not a devotee. I'm very low class. Hare Krishna. I'm very low class. But I cry for mercy. I chant I take shelter of chanting of the holy names constantly, because I know I'm a helpless case. Understand? Not because I'm so elevated that I can chant 24 hours a day. Because I'm so low. I have no other hope than to chant all the time. How can I help myself? It's no way. I committed so much nonsense, so much aparadhas. It's impossible even to know whom I offended. So, what to do? I can just pray for mercy without cessation. For example, Narottam Das Thakur, who is the most elevated devotee, he says I think it's in Prima Bhakti Chandrika, that my greatest fear is that that will not be able to overcome obstacles in devotional service. So therefore I pray constantly. You understand? This should be our mood. My greatest fear is that I will not be able to overcome obstacles. So I pray constantly. This should be our mood. Not that we are so elevated, we can pray, we can chant 25 rounds on Ekadashi. or something, I don't know. Yes. This should be our attitude. We will never... And also explained by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in 10th canto, when Krishna disappeared from rasa dance, then the gopis were very dejected, and I will not go deep in this story, but the comment was that Krishna regularly disappears from the devotee's life. Just for devotee to feel really dejected. I'm such an offender. It's not possible for me to attain Krishna. And therefore, if devotee is really sincere, he surrenders full-heartedly because of this, and intensifies his longing for Krishna. Yes. Is this okay?
I feel like the topic is never discussed enough, so if you would speak for 1 more hour.
Then I would offend you. You will suffer sitting here. Okay. Should we end now? Yes.
What actions are not stupid? Just chanting?
No, also other processes of devotional service. And consciousness, as we have heard this morning, Srila Prabhupada, that consciousness is extremely important. Actually, he named this process as Krishna consciousness movement. It's not even movement for Krishna's worship, although we perform Krishna's worship, but not as worship itself, not as a ritual, empty ritual, but consciousness is what's important. And also the chanting of the holy name is not just repeating some words and be absent-minded. It's consciousness that counts. Yes, nothing else than consciousness. Therefore, it is said, "Smartave satatam Vishnur vismartave na chaturchit. Sarve vidi nishedaksur itara eva kinkara." That there are one injunction and one prohibition. That all other injunctions and prohibitions in all the Shastras are servants of this one injunction and one prohibition. And what is this one injunction?
To always remember Krishna.
To always remember Krishna. And what is this one prohibition?
To never forget.
You never forget Krishna. Yes, this is important, and this is consciousness. This is all about our consciousness. Yes, so we should perform, and of course we don't just remember Krishna and do nonsense. If we remember Krishna, that means that we perform devotional service to Krishna. And this can be many things. Even if you go to your regular job, if you do it with consciousness, I'm just a servant of Krishna, and Krishna has sent me here to perform service for his pleasure. Therefore, we shouldn't do something sinful, of course. Selling meat or something in the store. Yes. Okay? Is this okay? Yes. Be conscious all the time. Hare Krishna. I think we should continue tomorrow morning. And if you have more questions, please write them down. And we can also start with questions and answers.
Tomorrow, you mean?
Tomorrow morning, yes. Will you be able to be here? Okay. Thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavad-gita ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Please accept my